the root locus up to the step of finding out the breakaway point in the last class we have studied. So today we will start with the step number 9. Okay, continuation with the last numerical step number 9. We are going to do it. So what that particular step number 9 is saying? It is saying very clearly, we need to find the intersection point on the j omega axis. Okay, this is very important step. So to find intersection points on j omega axis, intersection point on j omega axis, and the range of k, for closed loop stability. Range of k for closed loop stability. So this is the objective of the step number 9. So in this we can understand that we'll find out the system. So all of you can follow writing with me, okay, so that you will learn it and you will write it also. The system characteristic equation is see, in the last step you obtained system characteristic equation. What is a particular equation? So it is s cube plus 7s square plus 10s plus k equal to 0. So this is the characteristic equation. So in the while discussing the roots or whatever, while discussing the steps or rules of rapid plotting of a root locus, we understood one thing. What we understood? We understood that so we can plot the root locus in such a way that, okay, by putting s equal to j omega, that is the alternative option, or else we can go for the root locus, sorry, root Hurwitz criteria, RH criteria. So doing RH criteria is once again a tedious job. So what we can do is we can put, okay, so I can say that let s equal to minus j omega. So s equal to minus j omega. So we get, okay, so we get so if you get so okay, s equal to j omega, I think s equal to j omega. So if you put j omega whole cube plus 7 into j omega whole square plus 10 into j omega plus k equal to 0. So you just solve it and you just tell me what is the answer you will get. So you will get minus j omega cube, because j square is minus 1. Minus 1 into j is minus j. Minus j into omega cube, we can do it. So here plus of here what will equal to minus omega square it will come, correct? So 7 into minus omega square, because j square is minus 1. So plus 10 into j omega, I can say, plus k equal to 0. So among these particular things, okay, if you just take the real part and imaginary part, so what you will get? You will get k minus 7 omega square plus j into 10 omega minus omega cube equal to 0. Okay, so this is the real part as well as imaginary part separation we will get. So I hope that everybody got this one, correct? So once everybody got this one, okay, so now we will write one condition. What is the condition? The above equation is true. The above equation is true if the real and imaginary parts are separately equal to 0. So it is a very important thing. Okay, so you know that. Okay, so 0 plus j0 is 0. So in order to get this particular things is 0, see, when it comes to the multiplication, any one element is 0 means what, another element will be multiplied with 0, so the answer will be 0. But here 7k minus 7 omega square also should be equal to 0. 10 omega minus omega cube also should be equal to 0. So that is why I can say that we'll get k minus 7 omega square is equal to 0. So k equal to what is the value you will get? 7 omega square is the value you will get. So and what is another thing we'll get? 10 omega minus omega cube equal to 0. So you can take that omega common. If you take omega common, 10 minus omega square is equal to 0. So omega is the natural frequency, cannot be equal to 0. So I can say that 10 minus omega square equal to 0. So omega square equal to what? 10 you will get. So when omega square, so this is the value you will get, omega square equal to 10. So I hope that all of you got this particular omega square equal to 10. So therefore I can say that omega will be equal to plus or minus j root 10. Plus or minus j root 10 radians per second. So what is the unit? So radians. Okay, omega is angular frequency. Angular frequency unit is what? Radians per second. 10 plus or minus root 10 is the value. Clear? So now what is the value of k you will get? So omega square equal to 10. So obviously k will be equal to what? 7 into 10. So it is equal to what? K equal to what? 70. K equal to what? 70. So range of k is what? 70. So that is 0 to 70. So omega equal to what? Plus or minus square root of root 10. This is the value of the values we got. Okay, the natural frequency omega as well as the range of k. Okay, so k, range of k is 70, the gain. So after writing this one, okay, so can I confirm that all of you completed this particular stage? Any doubts? Okay, so no doubts, I guess. So we'll plot the root locus. So when we can plot the root locus, I can say that root locus plot. So root locus will be plot on the S-plane. So when you're talking about the S-plane, obviously, so I can say that so we can take this particular plane. So here it is the sigma, and here it is what? J omega plus j omega, and here it is minus sigma, and here it is minus j omega. And this particular plane is called as what? S plane. This particular plane is called as what? S plane. So this is the origin. Okay, so this is the center point is the origin. Okay, now so when the origin is there, okay, so what is the first step in plotting the root locus? All of you listen carefully. So now I just take 1 minute of time of you. So now tell me, how many of you are listening to the class? Please raise your hands. And how many of you completed this particular stage? Please raise your hands. Okay, okay. So very good, very good. So remaining all, please concentrate. So now I just write this one. What is the first step? First step is very simple. Plot the poles, okay, and zeros. So where the poles are there? So pole, when you're talking about this particular numerical, the pole is at 0 and one pole is at minus 2 and another pole is at minus 5. So this is the pole location. This is the first step. So now after you writing the first step, okay, so next step is what? You need to mark the centroid. So what is the centroid value? The centroid value is, okay, so centroid value is minus 2.33. Okay, so when if this is the value of minus 2, so obviously minus 2.33 may be here. Okay, so this is the minus 2.33 value. So I can say that this is one, I can consider this one. So this is called what? Centroid sigma A. So centroid sigma A, I can say. So its value is what? Minus 2.33. So all of you mark this one. Okay. So once you mark this particular centroid, so can I believe that all of you are marked? I can believe. Okay. So now after this one, I can say that the angle of asymptote. Okay. So what is the first angle? It is saying that it is 60 degrees. So approximately, so you can use the protractor and all. So I can say that. So this may be somewhat, if I take this particular perpendicular in this 60, sorry 90 degree. So if I just make it, yeah, I can say that, yeah. So this may be 60 degrees. Okay, so this particular line may be 60 degrees. That is, I can say that it is asymptote 1. Asymptote AS1 means what? Asymptote 1. So I can say that what is the angle? So angle is what? 60 degrees. It is the first asymptote. So after that, second attempt asymptote is 180 degrees. 180 degrees means what? Exactly in the line only. Okay, so I can say that this particular line itself is a 180 degree. So I can say that asymptote 2. AS2. So for this angle is what? I can say that it is 180 degrees. Okay, 180 degrees. So once 180 degrees has come into picture, okay. So it is asymptote number 3. It is saying that 300 degrees. 300 degrees means what? Exactly the mirror image. You can see that whatever the angle you have taken, so that top angle 60 degree, so it will be just opposite of 60 degree, that is EAS, that is asymptote 3. So its angle is okay, its angle is 300 degrees. So can you able to draw this one, all of you? Do you have any doubt? You can ask me. Do you have any doubt? No doubt. Okay, how many of you drawn this one? Have you all drawn this one?
Sir.
Okay, fine. So once you are done this one, asymptotes, this is very simple thing. So now you have to make the breakaway point. What is that particular breakaway point value? It is 0.8. Okay, minus 0.8. You can see that in the numerical we have found out that at exactly the breakaway point. Okay, so that is minus 0.8 is the breakaway point value. So when you find that particular 0.8 is minus 0.8 is a breakaway point, if I can mark approximately here. Okay, so it is minus 0.8. Minus 0.8. So I can say this is a breakaway point, that is BAP, I can say breakaway point. So now after you marking this particular breakaway point, what is the next step? Next step is what? Point of intersection. So point of intersection on the j omega axis. So what is that particular omega value? Omega value will be equal to plus or minus root 10. I can say that omega equal to plus root 10 and omega equal to minus root 10. So here randomly I will mark here. Okay, so root 10 means what? Square root of 9 is what? 3. Okay, So if I can say that this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4, like that. So this is 3, somewhere here. Okay, 3 point something it will come. So I can say that this is the point of intersection on j omega axis, that is plus j omega. So that is equal to plus j root omega value is what? Root 10. So root 10. So here also 1, 2, and 3. So I can say that somewhere here. So it is minus j omega. So equal to what? Minus j root 10. So and above and below symmetricity, we are symmetrical property we are going to maintain. So once you maintain this particular value, that is minus j root 10 value. Okay. So I can say that from the breakaway point, you just draw it in a very smooth curve. Okay, I'll just redraw this one. Okay. So you just need to so you just need to mark it. Okay, you just need to like this. So mark it. Okay. So I can say that here from this I can say that, yeah. So draw on the digital pad, it is somewhat tedious job. Okay. So like this I need to make it. So similarly from the bottom also I can connect this one. So you will get, see, you need to draw it as per the graph sheets and all. So it will come neatly. So approximately I am writing this one. Okay. So I taken the value. So this is the root locus curve. So now this root locus branch will go further. So here you can see that this particular asymptote will give the direction of flowing. So I can say that this particular thing will go to the infinity. So k equal to infinity because there is no ending point. So it will go in the direction of asymptote. Asymptotes will give the direction of branch. How to move k equal to infinity. Okay. So here in this particular in this particular point of intersection, I can say that k will be equal to 70. Okay, k will be equal to 70. So when the k equal to 70, so the what you call for that, the root locus will lie on the left hand side. So if the k greater than 70, it will go to the infinity. Clear? So root locus will go to the right hand side. Okay, root locus will go to the right hand side. So now this is what exactly the concept. Okay, so have you all drawn this one, root locus? So this is about simple steps for drawing the root locus. So almost all numerical will be like this only. So you need to find all those things, calculation parts and all, you need to do it. And after that, you need to draw the root locus plot. So once you plot this particular root locus, so you can write one comment. Okay, so comment I'll just write here. So what is that particular comment? So for k greater than 70, root locus crosses over 2, crosses over to right hand side of S plane, right hand side of S plane. Hence for closed loop stability, zero greater than k, okay, 0 less than k less than 70 need to be maintained. So this is called as what when we have the condition. So it is called as what conditionally stable. It is called as what conditionally stable. Is it clear? This is called conditionally stable. So I hope that all of you have taken this one. Any doubt in this particular numerical, you can ask me. Any doubt? So it's very simple only, the plotting a root locus, but we need to have the idea of plotting the root locus. You need to concentrate, that's all. Shall we go to the next numerical? Okay. So fine, we will go to the next numerical. So when you go to the next numerical, I will take the new whiteboard. So write down the next numerical. Sketch the root locus plot for all values of k ranging from 0 to infinity for a negative feedback control system characterized by g of s into h of s is equal to k into s plus 6 divided by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2. Okay. So now here in the compared to the last numerical, so this numerical was somewhat slight difference is there. So what is that particular difference? I can make it out. So difference is very simple. Okay. So what is that particular difference? Difference is, okay. So difference is we have a 0. Okay, we have a 0 also in this particular numerical. So previous numerical only poles were there. So now here we have zeros also. Okay, that is the question. So I repeat the question. Sketch the root locus plot for all values of k ranging from 0 to infinity for a negative feedback control system characterized by g of s into h of s is equal to k into s plus 6 divided by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2. Okay. So well, in that case, I can say that solution. Okay, so solution. So first step, what is the first step? Plot the poles and zeros of g of s into h of s on the s plane. Plot the poles and zeros of the g of s into h of s on the s plane. So when you are plotting this one, okay, when you are plotting this one. Okay, so we will be plotting this one. So take the S-plane. So this particular S-plane, just a representation. Why? Because so once again we are going to draw it on the while plotting the root locus. So here S equal to 0. So poles when you're talking about S equal to 0, S equal to -1 and S equal to -2 you will get. And when you're talking about the zeros, you will get S equal to -6. Okay, so S equal to -6 you will get. And there are no other zeros. I can say that zeros are infinite. That means what, for every pole they should be in zeros. So here 0 is there. That means for 3 poles are there, 1 0 is there. Obviously, there are 2 zeros which are missing. For that particular 2 zeros, we can consider them as the infinity. So infinity need not to write it. Okay, so just I can say that pole is at S equal to 0 and S equal to -1 and S equal to -2. And after that S equal to -6. So here somewhere it will come. Okay, so it will be 3 and it will be 4 and it will be 5 and it will be 6. So I can say that this is S equal to -6. So it is 0. Okay. So this is the first step. The plot the poles and zeros of G of S and H of S on the S plane. So we'll go for the next second step, that is okay, so what is the second step? When k equal to 0, so it implies that points. So what are the points? Points are, I can say that S equal to 0, -1, -2. That means what poles we are going to consider. Okay, so similarly when k equal to infinity, so points which are need to be considered are points are S equal to -6, infinity and infinity. So these are called as what, zeros. So for every pole I can say that the branch of root locus starts from a pole and ends on zeros. For every pole there should be a 0. That is what exactly the concept. The third step is interrelated to the first, second, same thing. So I can say that a branch of the root locus, always starts branch of root locus always starts on a pole, that is k equal to 0 and ends on a 0. Starts on a pole, that is k equal to 0 and ends on a 0, that is k equal to infinity. So these are the things you need to write down. A branch of root locus always starts on a pole, that is k equal to 0 and ends on a 0, that is k equal to infinity. So these 3 steps are mandatory. So we'll go for the next, that is fourth step. The fourth step, the number, okay, so number of branches. So I can say that the number of branches of the root locus always starts, okay, number of branch of the root locus. So I'm just writing this one once again. Number of branches of root locus always a greater number, always a greater number among poles and zeros. So among poles and zeros. So here P equal to what? So here P equal to what? 3. There are 3 poles and Z equal to what? 1. So obviously P greater than Z. So it implies number of branches equal to number of branches equal to 3. Okay, that is the fourth step. So what about the fifth step? Fifth step is saying that a point on the real axis lies on the root locus if the number is or odd number. So a point on the real axis lie on the root locus if the number of singularities are odd. So your odd number means what? Either the pole or zeros. That means what? The sum of all poles and zeros should be odd number. In this case, there is the, if you take the singularity, that is 3 plus 1 is 4. So point will not lie. So now we'll go for the next step, that is step number 6. So when you are going for the step number 6, okay, so I can say that the number of asymptotes. Okay, so here I can say that the number of asymptotes so equal to what? What equal for that? P minus Z. So modulus 3 minus 1 equal to what? 2. There are 2 asymptotes in this particular scenario. So like in the previous numerical, we will also solve this one centroid. Okay, so centroid will be equal to what? So centroid sigma A we will calculate. Sigma A will be equal to what? The summation of finite poles minus summation of finite zeros. Summation of finite poles and summation of finite zeros. So here summation of finite poles is a 0 minus 1 minus 2. So here minus 6 will come because summation of zeros divided by 3 minus 1. So that is equal to 0.5. So here sigma A is 1.5. The positive 1.5 will come. Okay. So that means on the right side of the root locus it is going to come. So after that particular finding of centroid value, we can go finding angle of in the sixth step. So the angle made okay, the angle so the angle made by asymptotes with respect to the real axis, with respect to the real axis, is given by phi a is equal to 2 cube plus 1 into 180 degrees divided by p minus z. That is equal to q will be equal to what? That implies that q value will be equal to what? 0 and 1, because only 2. So when q equal to, I can say that when q equal to 0, so phi a will be equal to 90 degrees you will get. So for example, phi a, if you calculate, that is 2 into 0 plus 1, okay, into 180 degrees divided by 3 minus 1. So it will be what? By 2. So it is equal to 90 degrees. Similarly, if you calculate, so when phi a will be obtaining as 270 degrees. So just calculate and confirm that whether we will get the same. That means 270 degrees. So step number 7, I can say that the root locus is always symmetrical. Root locus is always symmetrical with respect to real axis. So dear students, I can see that particular symmetricity property. So in this particular, what you call for that, the last numerical we have seen in the top and bottom. So you can see that symmetry is there in the root locus. Similar way, in the every root locus, the symmetricity will be maintained. Clear?